Okay, so this week in science, you're going to be making a matter book. And that matter book you can get in Blackboard and print out. But you need to go ahead and get your book and you can open it and watch this. I need to go over this PowerPoint with you. And then you'll be able to fill out your book a little bit better. You can open this PowerPoint up in the printouts as well, and if you need more, if you need to review it again for your book. So what does it matter? Matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. So we've been working on this. It can be observed or measured. Matter is made up of atoms. How tightly these atoms are packed together determines what state of matter. Either a solid, we'll be going over this, and the atoms, so if an atom, an atom you cannot see, but if these are representations of an atom, the atoms of a solid would be very close together. You can't move, they don't move very well. So a solid, it takes a lot to break, depending how hard that solid is. So a snowman would be harder to break than my desk or my computer. So the computer, a little bit harder to break. If I were to drop a snowball, and that snowball would break pretty easily. But now computer would break, but it wouldn't break as easily as a snowman. Liquid and gas. So I'm going to show you these. The liquid, those atoms get a little bit further apart because when you like pour a drink of water, you can see it pour. So you can't pour a snowball or a computer into a cup. And then gas, the atoms get a little bit further apart. So I'm going to go ahead and go through that, some of that information. So matter comes in three forms: solid, liquid, gas. You guys need to know that. Go ahead and say that with me: solid, liquid, and gas. States of matter. So we're going to go through each of those three states of matter. Solid. A solid has something that has distinct shape, mass, and volume. So you've worked with mass and volume already. So it has a distinct shape. So if you think of a computer, everyone can think of a distinct shape. Or if you think of a snowman, there are different shapes that snowmen come in, but they all have a distinct shape, mass, and volume. A solid, the atoms of the solid objects are packed together tightly. So this would be an atom, or right here in this picture, these little balls are representations of atoms. And so see how closely they are. It takes a lot to break those apart. Number two, state of matter, liquid. Liquid do not have a definite shape. They have mass and they have volume. Liquids are like or similar to solids because their atoms are close together. But they are different from solids because liquids have atoms that move around. Okay, so a solid would be like this and they don't move. But a liquid, they can move. And you can see that when you pour a drink of water or you spill a liquid on at dinner time or any other time. Or take a bath or a shower. They move around. Liquids change shape and their shape flows. So here are the atoms that we talked about here in a solid. See how they're a little bit further apart and you can see space in between some of those atoms. Okay? Liquid atoms are not as close together as atom and solids. They are far enough apart to move and flow. Liquids change shape. Their shape flows. Think water flows or liquid flows. So here the snowman is turning into a liquid. It is melting. Gas doesn't have volume or shape. So here is the gas. So if you were to boil, everyone's seen water boil on a stove, and you see the gas escape. So gas is like liquid in that it takes the shape of its container. So a liquid takes the shape of its container, like if you were to pour water in a cup, the liquid takes the shape of this, okay? A gas also takes a shape. So if you see a balloon, what's inside of it? It's gas, okay? It's your air. So the balloon blows up because there is gas, there's air in there, and it takes the shape of its container. Gases are different than liquids because they are not in a container. They spread out indefinitely, forever and ever. So gas is all around you. And you can see that like if the wind blows in a tree, or if you're outside and you see your breath when it's really cold, or when you see it escaping here when you're boiling something. Let's take a look at those atoms. Those atoms are now, you can take your hands and represent them as atoms. You can take them and they're going to be moving around, and there's a lot of space in between atoms. Because those atoms are farther apart, that gas is free to flow and be all around you. Okay, there we go. So, when a snowman sits outside on a cold January day, he is solid. Can you explain why? We can say those atoms are very close together. When a snowman melts, he turns from a solid to a liquid. Can you explain why? Those atoms can flow more freely, and there's a little bit more space in between them. So that's why liquid can move freely. And then when the snowman boils, it turns from liquid to a gas, and here's the gas coming up from the liquid. The steam you see is rising as gas right here, and that's because those atoms, there's a little bit more space in between, and they can move freely, and they can be all around you. When you go to your book, let me go ahead and review that book because there are some specific things that you'll need to know to complete them, okay? So let's go ahead and open that book. So this is a book that matters, all about solids. So go ahead and you can draw a picture here, or you can cut out pictures from a magazine, newspaper, or print them off the internet and put examples of solids here, where the atoms are close together and they don't break, and they can break if dropped or hit. These are examples of solids because you need to say why from the video or from the PowerPoint. Properties of a solid. So the properties would be, okay, so it has, so a property would be things that you can, it takes up volume, it has mass. Those are going to be properties of a solid. So you need to explain those here. So you could say, say you say like a pencil, and the property of it is that it has mass, or it is hard, and the atoms are close together. You do the same thing for liquids and gases. So here you're going to show the molecules, the atoms that we talked about in the PowerPoint. Show them as a solid, as a liquid, and what they look like as a gas. And you can do the same thing here. So you just show me the molecule here, and then draw a picture of a solid, then use your molecule pieces to show what you would look like inside that object. Okay, show me the molecules of a liquid, again, and as a solid. And then draw and label a solid. Then show words and pictures, at least 2 ways you can change that to a solid. 2 ways you can change that solid. So you can change it into gas, or you can change it into a liquid. You show that with a picture. And then draw and label a liquid, then show with words and pictures, at least 2 ways you can change that liquid. So that liquid can change to a solid, or it can change into it can change into, we're changing a liquid, so it can change how you can change it to a solid and how you can change it to a gas. And a solid again, show 2 ways how you can change it to a liquid into a solid. So there's your book. You have all week to finish that up, at least 3 pages a day. And we, yeah. So if you need any more, you can go to your book for more information, or to the PowerPoint, and have a great day.